let's have a drink. You know, when we used to do these events live before the pandemic, we always had a bar and wine, and we kind of wanted to keep in that spirit, especially with this book, Luster. I mean, who doesn't want to have a cocktail and read a book like Luster? So we thought we would invite one of our favorite bartenders. Yes, our show has a favorite bartender. That's Ivy Mix, and she agreed to join us tonight. Ivy's the real deal. She was named American Bartender of the Year by the U.S. Bartenders Guild in 2015. She is co-owner of Leyenda in Brooklyn, a James Beard Award-nominated cocktail bar in Carroll Gardens, and the author of her own book called Spirits of Latin America, a celebration of culture and cocktails with 100 recipes from Leyenda and beyond. So if you follow us on social media, you know that Ivy created a cocktail for this show based on this book. So here are some of the ingredients you're going to need if you haven't done it already. You're going to need some rye whiskey, cognac, Campari, some simple syrup, and some limes and ice as well. And without further ado, let's welcome Ivy Mix. Hi, Ivy.
Hey, Alison, how are you?
I am doing great. We're so excited. We've already had people tweeting us pictures of their cocktails, so people love this idea.
I love it.
When you are crafting a new cocktail, how does it start? Do you start with the liquor? Do you start with a flavor you're going for?
Yeah, I mean, usually when I create cocktails, I usually start with the spirit itself, and I taste it, and I go through what I taste in that certain alcohol or liquor. But with this cocktail, I really kind of dove into the book and tried to take my inspiration from there. And like any art form, in writing, like this book, you're putting ideas into words that then are translated into thoughts. And with cocktails or food or anything culinary, we're just trying to put flavors to words and thoughts. So that was the idea here.
All right. So you read Luster.
Yes.
And tell me about how you decided to make this cocktail.
Yeah. So first of all, Luster just spoke to me on so many different levels. I also spent my early 20s living in Bushwick and Brooklyn, and I just think it's a really beautiful debut novel. So what I really want to do with this cocktail is I tried to assign different flavors and ideas to the different characters and it's kind of the plot of the book. So without doing a spoiler, the Rye Whiskey to me is very Brooklyn, very kind of young Brooklyn. I don't want to say hipster, but this type of person who's like, because Rye Whiskey is really tasty, but it's also relatively inexpensive. Word to the wise for anyone who's out there, you can just drink it and it's really good. And I wanted to pair that with something that was a little bit autumnal because it's the season that we're in, and also something that's a little bit older. And we're going to the fall season at Leyenda. Lots of our cocktails have cognac in them. So I was like, oh, I want to, rather than just doing, straight rye whiskey, let's try to give kind of the other nuance of these stories, kind of like the battle between old and young, these different nuances. So rye whiskey and cognac. And then Campari is in there as this bitter component, kind of this to me, that's the tension within the book, which I love. And then I muddle up some lime and some sugar, pretty much to balance out the drink. But when you muddle lime, you get all that pith, and it also kind of aids the bitterness, but the sweetness of the juice ties all the ingredients together.
All right, so you're gonna make it. I'm gonna try to follow. I did a little pre-mixing here, and this we're not sure how this is gonna go. Okay.
Great. So it's yeah. So it's pretty easy. I'm just gonna kind of put this together really quick for you. So what I'm gonna do is just muddle up a quarter of a lime. So it's you just kind of take a lime, muddle it, put all the.
I did that. I got my limes in there. I did that.
You did it.
I pre-muddled.
Good. And then I'm just gonna do you can really, I know I say simple syrup, but when you muddle with sugar, it's really easy. Simple syrup is called simple syrup because it's simple to make. It's equal parts sugar and water. Don't buy it in the grocery store. Just make it yourself. It's super easy. I was gonna make some, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna put like a teaspoon of sugar into my drink because with the shake and everything, it'll be just fine. There you go. And then we're going to do 1.5 ounces of rye whiskey.
Oop, I've got my rye. I don't know if I did it. Is that a little heavy? not
You
too
know
heavy.
what? We've got 6 days until the election, so I think heavy's okay.
There you go.
I think he's okay. And plus, that's supposed to be Eddie, so like that's like the main player here, right? The guy was the main player. And then we're doing a 1/2 ounce of the cognac.
All right, I did a whole pre-mixed situation here.
Good, go for it.
All right, so I hope that was okay. Does the order matter?
No, doesn't matter.
Not really? Okay. Oops, I left a little sugar behind. Never leave sugar behind, never leave a man behind.
Right, yeah. Good. And then you do a 1/2 ounce of Campari.
Okay, I'm in there.
It's funny because, so just getting ready for this, to record this, I was looking up, just like taking notes, like cliff notes online, like, okay, I remember this. And I looked up the book on Wikipedia, and it was saying that, and it's interesting, I didn't think about it, but it was interesting to have Eddie be a flaneur, which is a phrase that I learned when I was in college from the Borges essay, which means like a wanderer, but it's kind of an untranslatable word from French. And I think that this cocktail, I mean, it's kind of like after the fact, but it kind of makes sense for this cocktail as well, because it's Italy, France, and, America or Kentucky. And I just like the idea of the flaneur. So I think Luster Flaneur is a good name for the drink. Okay,
wait a minute. I lost a step. Ice?
Ice, yes.
Okay. I was lost in your words about the flaneur.
Put your cap on. I mean, you shake. You put the little cap on top. I'm shaking mine in a ball jar because
like it.
Those are great, but I don't like doing dishes. When I try to make drinks at home, I shake in a ball jar. I just open it up, and then I've got a cocktail.
All right. So how long do we shake?
About 10 seconds. Just make sure you put your hand on the top. Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Good.
Okay.
Great. And then,
all right.
Do you have a glass?
I do. Okay. So pour it in, or do I want the ice?
You can kind of take off the big top.
Yeah. Maybe.
Sometimes
it'll come off.
If not,
it's not coming off.
Just strain it into the glass.
Okay, I'll just strain.
And it should be pink because of the Campari. I don't know. I was trying to do the research on who designed the book cover because I think the book cover is so spot on.
Oh, you were going for the color of the book cover.
I mean, kind of, but it's hard to do because it's so magnetic and it's so disco. But it was kind of the idea. But yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Cheers. Cheers to you. Cheers to Raven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's delicious.
Super tasty. And really
I got to put this down because I still have to interview Raven. But before I let you go, I do have I want to ask you a serious question because obviously businesses like yours, restaurants, tough times right now during the pandemic. And I know you've been really, really involved with the Independent Restaurant Coalition, trying to find ways to help businesses. And you've been really trying to advocating for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. It got folded into the HEROES Act, which is now stalled. What's at stake for your places like your bar, Leyenda?
Yeah, so I think that to give a quick little answer to a huge question is that the important thing about the Independence Restaurant Coalition is that we're focusing on the independent. So people who don't have a chain, they don't have massive backers, they don't have, they're not openly traded, all these things. And restaurants and bars like mine, we are in danger of closing forever. And a show like yours is so amazing because you celebrate culture, whether it be literary culture, musical culture, food culture, whatever. And people should recognize that we're in danger of losing food and drink culture. Your favorite local that you like to go get a cocktail at, we're running at 20 to 70% of what we normally run at. So the Restaurants Act, which was brought forward by the Independent Restaurant Coalition, is essentially asking, now the Senate already passed the House, but now asking the Senate to just give us something to survive because winter is coming. It doesn't matter if you're in New York City, which is bad, but like even if you're in the south of Florida, winter after December, when the holidays are here, equal low sales or horrible weather and low turnout. So we're really in need of an act to get passed. And I encourage everyone to call up your senator and say, pass the Restaurants Act, because we need it.
You should check out Leyenda on Smith Street. You should also check out Ivy's book, Spirits of Latin America. Ivy, thank you so much for making this cocktail, which I'm gonna hold on to. I can't really drink it until we get well into the show because it tastes so good. And you know. Ivy, cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.